the same thing that our undocumented neighbors have been asking for years. Dignity and protection here in this country for our undocumented neighbors. We are also specifically asking, after months of protests, to shut down the Wyatt once and for all and ban private prisons here in Rhode Island. We are asking for our state elected officials to ban collaboration with ICE and stop acting or prevent our police officers from acting as immigration agents here in Rhode Island so that our undocumented neighbors don't live here. Again, we've asked months now. We've been asking the governor to sign on to these agreements. We've been asking our elected officials, and we're here right at their doorstep, asking once again to shut down the Wyatt and ban private prisons once and for all. I'm going to turn it over to Jared, who's going to share a story of how what we're seeing right now is tied to experiences of the Holocaust and why never again must mean never again for anyone.
Well, so why are we here tonight? Why should we care what happens when the government detains immigrants and asylum seekers? For many of us, comfortable middle-class Jews, the issue can seem pretty remote, far from our everyday concerns, our jobs, our families, our friends, what we watch on TV, what we have for dinner, what happens in our everyday lives. Why should we care? Let me tell you a story. What? I need to go this way? This way. What if I stand here? No? I have to literally face this way. All right. So sorry, people over here, you don't have to see my back. It's a nice back, but it's what I got. Let me tell you a story. My grandmother, Ann Kahn, or Kana Kahn, was the youngest of 9 children. All of her brothers and sisters were born in a small town in Lithuania called Darbenai. In the 1890s, her father and her mother moved the family to Rochester, New York. So Anne was the only one of the 9 brothers and sisters born in the United States. All of the brothers and sisters came to the U.S. except for her oldest brother, Shalom. Shalom stayed back in Lithuania in Darbenai. My grandmother became a kindergarten teacher in Rochester. In 1928, when she was in her 20s, she went on a trip to Europe, and then she visited Shalom in Darbenai. In Lithuania. It was a very foreign world from Rochester, the world that she knew. It did not seem to have changed from the time her father had left there more than 35 years before. Her brother was now a middle-aged man, and he was the second-string rabbi in a small town. The chief rabbi told my grandmother that she should take Shalom home with her because they didn't need 2 rabbis, but he said he didn't want to go. He thought America was a Treifa Medina, an unkosher place. So he stayed behind. Shalom had a daughter, Rivka, and a son, Menachem. Menachem had 3 daughters, Miriam, Itali, and Liba. My grandmother remembers seeing them in 1928 when she visited. They were beautiful and funny little girls. They all spoke Yiddish. Shalom's daughter Rivka wanted to leave Darbenai. It was a small and remote town. And a few years later, with the help of my grandmother's family, they sent money and Rivka moved to Palestine, where she helped found a kibbutz. They tried to help Shalom's granddaughters, Miriam, Itali, and Liba, get out too. They sent more money, but they didn't hear back. After Germany invaded Lithuania in June 1941, they sent letters and made inquiries with the Red Cross, but they didn't hear back. When the war was over, they learned what happened to the Jews of Darbenai. Within a week after Germany invaded, they rounded up the 800 Jews of the town. They separated the men from the women and children. They forced the men in the town to dig a pit where they were shot and buried in a mass grave. They were the lucky ones. The women and the children were locked in the synagogue, where they were kept for a month, starved, raped, and finally beaten to death by local fascists. They were buried in a separate mass grave. So that's what happened to Miriam, Itali, and Liba Khan, Shalom's granddaughters, my grandmother's nieces. For her whole life, my grandmother was racked with guilt. Her family had sent money to them, but why hadn't they done more? What more could she have done? Maybe there was nothing more she could have done, but she didn't know. She wasn't the only one who blamed her. Her niece Rivka, living in the kibbutz in Palestine, blamed her too. Why didn't you do more, she said of her American family. In Darbenai, we had nothing. But in America, you have resources, you have connections. You could have helped them get out. The guilt and blame between my grandmother and Rivka caused a real rift in the family. 20 years later, when they met again in the kibbutz, Rivka had not forgiven her. The pain and grief stretches across the generations. I have never met Rivka's children, my Israeli cousins. The Yizkor service we're enacting here is about remembering the dead. Yizkor means remember. But we don't remember the dead just to tell us about the past. We do it to remember the lessons of the past, to help us decide what we must do now. My family's experience of the Holocaust is far from unique. But the lesson we as Jews have learned from this experience is summed up in the words, never again. Those words are not a slogan. They are a command. Our history imposes upon us a duty to act, to stop anything like that from ever happening again. We must act at the first sign to prevent anyone from being subjected to tyranny, family separation, starvation, rape, and murder. We must not wait until they've already been rounded up and genocide is well underway before we act. Today, in years from today, we may ask ourselves, as my grandmother did, or we may be asked by our brothers and sisters in the Latinx and other immigrant communities, what did you do to stop our families from being separated? What did you do to stop children from being put in cages? What did you do when immigrants were denied medical treatment? What did you do to help your brothers and sisters and cousins whose only crime was not having the right paperwork? I hope we can say we did everything we could. We didn't know what would work. We tried and did everything we could think of, everything we thought might work, and in the end, I hope it will be enough. We need to do everything we can to get the legal and democratic process to work. We must do all that we can to get the governor to condemn ICE detention in the state and do all she can do to end it. We must do all that we can to get our state representatives to pass a law to shut down ICE, to end private prisons, and to stop new contracts with ICE. I hope that we can succeed through the democratic and political process, but if it doesn't, we will not give up. Respecting the results of the political process isn't always morally justified. If there had been a city council to decide what to do with the Jews of Darbenai, and the majority had voted to round them up and starve them, it wouldn't have been enough to say, we respect the process. It's just a vote we lost and we should move on. We'll get them next time. No. If we're serious about the duty imposed on us when we say never again, we may have to disrupt things. We can't just be polite. Business as usual may not be enough to save anyone's life. We have to get people's attention. We may have to put ourselves and our bodies on the line. That's what never again means. So tonight, I'd like to light a candle. Can I have a lighter?
Mine is going to
I just want to light my own candle. Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, please, if you don't mind. I mean, oh, the whole. Let me do my thing. That's fine. All right. Thank you. So tonight I light this candle to remember Miriam, Natalie, and Libra Khan, who were killed because they were Jewish. I light this candle for my grandmother who felt she didn't do enough. I light this candle for the cousins I never got to meet because of the grief and guilt that spans generations. I light this candle for our brothers and sisters who died in ICE custody because we haven't done enough. But lighting this candle isn't enough. I light this candle to light a fire in my heart, in all our hearts, so that we will commit ourselves to do everything we can to say that never again do we let anything like what happened to us ever tear apart more families. I light this candle so that we never have to feel the guilt or face the accusation that we didn't do enough. I light this candle in the hope that together we will succeed in freeing those in detention and living together as brothers and sisters and cousins in peace.